Question: is there something that you have to do today and you've been putting it off? Let's talk about this on this very first. We can do it Wednesday, 2024. Back in a minute. Good morning, good morning. How you doing on this very first? We can do it Wednesday for the year 2024. How the heck are you? Hope everybody finds this video doing well, as always. Yeah. I'm actually recording this a week before, okay? It's actually in real time for me at the moment, December 27th, the previous Wednesday. But because, as many of you who listen and follow me all the time know, I like to make darn sure that your videos are up on the shelf a week ahead of time so I know guaranteed that you're going to get your shows. All right. These are good habits to get into. There's another good habit to get into. I remember many years ago, my parents, this was cute. Like when you're a little kid and you're like half asleep, but you hear your parents talking over their morning coffee. Anybody remember that out there? Well, I do. So I remember like many times I would smell, let's say on the weekend, maybe bacon cooking or something to that effect. A very nice smell to wake up to, especially when you're a kid. You don't have to cook it and you don't have to clean up after it. But anyway, I remember my parents, oftentimes, my dad used to say, okay, let's map out today. Let's map out today. I thought that was a very curious statement. Let's map out today. And when you're a little kid, you think like, what are they doing? Drawing maps over coffee? No. Jeez. But what my father meant was what's important today. Let's organize today. I guess that was their version of their day planner. You see, back in the early days, I don't remember officially if there were things called day planners out. I remember day planners coming out like later on, like in my lifetime anyway, like much later on, maybe in the 80s, maybe even 70s. I'm not sure about that. Definitely not in the early 60s, which is the time period that I'm defining. But my dad would say to my mom, and I remember it vividly, all right, let's map out today. So they talked over the priorities of the day, and in their own logical way that my parents, took care of matters, they took care of the matters, which is really good. And that's what I want to talk about today. How are you mapping out today? So in real time, in real life, this is what inspired me to do this video, okay? Because sometimes I do videos on the fly or spontaneously, all right? So making a long story short, I was listening or mapping out. Dad, I'm thinking of you. My day today. So I went down the list of the things that I definitely want to accomplish today. Now, sometimes I'll write those things down in advance in my day planner, but sometimes when I wake up, because life is concurrent, things are ongoing, right? It's always a fluid situation. As long as you're living and breathing, life is a fluid situation, doesn't remain stagnant, shouldn't remain stagnant. But in any event, so there are some things that are concurrent. Sometimes you have to follow up on, let's say, letters that you get, or something comes up, or somebody brings to your attention matters that really should not be sitting on the back burner type thing. So I wrote down or mapped out the things that I needed to do this morning on this actual, in my real time recording this on December 27th. And I looked at it. There were two things on the list that I went, ugh. Not to sound like that character on that show, Lucy, which she used to do that. When she didn't like something, she'd go, ugh. But I literally went, ugh, on those two items. So I said to myself, am I going to take care of the fun items first? Yay! Or am I going to take care of the items in the middle of the day? Or should I just push it away and sweep it off to latest thing to do in the day? Or worse still, tomorrow. Now, sometimes we look at our mapped out list and we look at the kind of stuff. and we're like, you know what? I don't feel like doing today. I think I'd rather put off to tomorrow. Well, at the moment, it feels, yeah. And then you wake up the next day with extra dread and extra anxiety, thinking, well, why didn't I take care of this yesterday? So I came to the conclusion the best thing to do to knock it out of the ballpark, these two items. So what I did was I reprioritized the chronology of the list. So I took my mapped out list. Thank you again, Dad. And I said, I'm going to take the two ugly things that I keep ewing about, and I'm going to tackle them first. I didn't do it yet because I'm doing one of my favorite things, making recordings. But I said, before I forget the idea, on this very first, we can do it Wednesday of 2024. I said, no, 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 no. I'm going to share this message. So my intentional plan, after a very nice cup of Joe, sometimes, excuse me, please. Sometimes it's a really good thing to have your cup of Joe. Like before the thing you don't want to do, it's sort of just like it gives you pause to realize, okay, I can do this thing. Now, ironically, the name of this show, right, every Wednesday is the We Can Do It Wednesday show. And I'd like to continue the Wednesday shows like this for a little more time, maybe a few more months, whatever. Whatever the wind takes me, whatever I want to do. That's why it's good to have your own channel. So before I forget to remind you for the first time in the year 2024, everybody out there listening has some sort of a great life experience or an amazing message to share. If you'd like to consider a channel, strongly consider it. Don't do what I did. I angsted over it for over a year. Could have been given more messages for a longer time, but I don't cry over spilt milk. Okay. But there is getting back to a nice cup of Joe, no, in your beautiful cup or pretty mug or beautiful porch, wherever you're sitting, or even in your living room, dining room, kitchen, your spot where you have your cup of Joe or tea. Some people don't drink coffee, whatever it is that little hot special beverage in the morning. Sit down and brave the day. But I could tell you one thing: when you get rid of the uglies in the morning, the things you don't want to do, the things you don't want to face, everything else seems like a summer breeze. Does that make sense or does that make sense? To me, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So here's to anybody this morning. And I'm not saying that these things that we have to do are earth shattering. They're just things like maybe we don't feel like doing. But I don't feel like decluttering even a half hour today. But I don't feel like responding to that letter I received in the mail. I don't feel like it. Well, let me tell you something. If we always caved into the things that we feel or felt like doing, and we just said we're just going to go along with our feelings, a lot of things would not get done. And sometimes detrimental after effects could occur from ignoring certain things too long. You know what I'm saying? So tackle the stuff you don't like to do first would be my suggestion. That's my best suggestion. On this very first 2024, we can do it Wednesday. If I can do it, trust you me, anybody can do it. Have an amazing day. We should all do a little more often what this lady does. Hang on. Have an amazing, fantastic day. Take good care. Happy 2024.